What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you tonight with more Danmachi. And today we're talking about the Aisha fight. You guys have been asking me for a team that can do this. And we did test a couple of teams last night. Now, most of the teams that I ran were just chock full of MLB units that a lot of people probably don't have. And I really wanted to give this a shot with a team that's a little bit more of a risk, but that could potentially reward. So first of all, let's talk about what you need to do here. Okay, to escalate this, you have to beat it within 12 turns without losing an enemy, without losing an enemy. That'd be kind of hard. Without losing a member, and with Belle in the party. Now, you don't have to escalate this to get the reward. And I will say, if you lose a member or if you don't have Belle in your party, that's fine. You can always beat it with an A clear or a B clear for that matter. Come back in and add those elements. So then you could come back in and do one that's, you're not going to beat in 12 turns, but you won't lose a member. Or do one, and then come back in and do one that you could add Belle to the party and then beat it. It doesn't have to necessarily be done all at once. Each one of those stars can be acquired later on. So, in fact, that's what I do with my first couple of runs. But that said, I think this team can do all of it. Now, obviously, we've got the OG Haruhime on here with Orna. That's going to be really, really, really important. Orna's going to basically be protecting Haruhime, getting us a lot of counterattacks. It's going to be really, really, really important to making sure we survive this. Okay? Secondly, I don't need to introduce either one of those. Secondly, we have Filvis. Now, Filvis has one purpose on this team, and that is this skill right here. Fast mid-fire magic attack, agility, magic resist, and fire resist, all down 25%. Aisha's going to buff her agility, and we are going to debuff her fire because our main hitter is going to be fire. If you are not using fire, if you're not using fire as your attacker, you could swap her, fill this out for whoever you have that debuffs that. But you need to make sure that that unit can survive this. And that's super duper critical. I'll get into why that is here in a moment. But next up, we have the free-to-play Belle. He's not even fully leveled. He doesn't have a huge place on this team, but I'll tell you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to jump in here, and he's going to do mid-fire magic attack, allies physical resist, and magic resist plus 20% for 4 turns. That physical resist is going to be really, really important. Now, you're probably noticing a trend here, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but that's going to be super duper important. Basically, we need to make sure that all these units on the front that are not MLB'd are going to survive. This Belle, being free to play and not having any hero ascension in him, is not a surviving unit. But with all the debuffs we're doing, he will be able to take a couple of hits and then get out of dodge while the getting's good. Line up next. We're going to basically be using her for 2 things. First, allies fast SA gauge charge by 33%. That's going to be really important. Secondly, the most important one, super light physical attack with ultra encounter rate, removes strength, and magic buffs. Now, notice that is a slow skill. The reason that I want a slow skill there, or a fast skill for that matter, either one would be fine. I think a slow skill actually has a couple of benefits. Those of you guys that were watching the stream last night, you watched a couple of times where we would try to remove the strength buff, but then she'd rebuff that at the end of the turn. A slow hopefully will mitigate that. We'll basically be able to get that done before she does essays and things like that, before she gets those big hits that kill us. That's going to be really, 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 really important. Basically, the main thing Line is doing is she's helping us get us essays faster and helping us survive by taking away those strength buff. You got to remove that strength buff. If you do not remove the strength buff, you are not going to pass this at all, period. It's a 40% strength buff, for instance, and we're still going to be getting hit, even with Haruhime. Well, okay, once we have all the debuffs in place, we shouldn't be getting hit for more than, double, maybe triple digits with really good ones. But, yeah, without those, we'll be getting hit for 3,000 and 4,000 each hit. Look at the health. You can kind of see where this is really necessary. And that's without the strength buff. You have that strength buff in there. It's just a one-shot. She'll one-shot you every time. So be really cautious about that. Okay? Galamus really doesn't need any introduction. There are other units that do the same thing he does, but I'll show you basically what he's going to do. Come on, Galamus. There you are. What he's going to do is he's going to come in here and do his fast damage received type all and single target minus 35%. So it's a buff skill that goes on all of our units that kind of protects them. It's a nice little buff skill. This is going to be really, really critical. Basically, what he's going to do is he's going to provide a great layer of protection to all of our units that will allow them to just kind of shrug off a lot of damage. Notice our big problem here, though. Katori is not got any of those buffs on her. This is a bit of a gamble. If Katori gets hit, she's going to hurt. But she also has more health than anybody else, and she has a skill that's going to help protect her. So we're going to basically be gambling on that skill. Big time. Big time. Assist-wise, you'll see I have the fire increasing Hermes on there. I would rather have had that with Katori on there. It's kind of moot at this point having it there. It really is, if I'm honest. It'd be better if basically it had Katori on there. I really need a fire reducer is what I need. I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he reduce fire? Yeah, fire resist down 10%. So we're actually going to swap. We're actually going to swap wherever he went. Where did Apollo go? Here, Apollo. There, Apollo. There's Apollo. We're going to swap Apollo onto this team. And actually, I'm going to put Apollo right there. Now, that does kind of put... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that too. The main thing to bear in mind here is that Sword Maiden here, her skills aren't the greatest, but she gives a little bit more magic to than this Hestia does. This Hestia is like all offense. Her magic attack is garbage. We're not really going to be producing a lot of damage with Philvis. It's not the greatest concern ever, but we want to basically make sure that she's able to do what she needs to do. Also, look at that magic stat here on Galamus. We're not going to be getting a lot off with him. So that 1500 magic stat with Philvis will actually help us produce a little bit more in the long run, although it's not really super critical. Okay, that does mean that, as you just saw, we're going to be debuffing magic. I'd love to buff magic. It's going to help Katori out if we can, but since she's coming in last, none of the buffs are going to affect her. Remember, assists that are in place don't apply to the new unit. They only apply once when they come in. That does mean that Artemis is going to be buffing everyone's strength, and they're all magic. So, but being that she buffs strength 20% to whoever she's tied to, it's just the right choice for Katori. Now, there is an argument to be had for putting the new... in fact, I might do it. Yeah, the new Freya on her. Because Freya does physical resist and magic resist 20%, while strength and magic also go up 20%. But her... Where did she go? Where did she go? I lost her. But her physical attack is 442, whereas hers is 657. It's a huge difference of damage. But if I'm honest, I need Katori to survive, so I'm going to go ahead and put... I'm going to bite the bullet, take a little bit of physical damage away. We should still be producing decent damage. We're going to see here in a moment because I know what I expect out of her. But either way, we're going to do this just so Katori has a little bit more survivability. So hopefully that kind of explains the team. If you have any questions about anything, definitely put it in the comments section down below. Let's go ahead and jump in here and see what we got. We're going to have to play this really cool. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and debuff with Haruhime. I'm going to go ahead and do a debuff with Philvis. Now, I have changed this up ever so slightly, and I've given Philvis the swap anklet. I'm going to keep Bell, because Bell is slightly... Oh, that is a bad jitter on the... And HDMI is mad at me tonight. I apologize, but HDMI output on my phone is obviously not doing too hot. It is in a very bad mood. But hey, with the quarantine, I can't do anything about it, so we're going to have to live with it. So, like I said, we're going to have to do serious buffs and debuffs. I have Bell staying only because he's MLB. Now, he's free to play, so he's not the greatest, and I've not put any Ascension into him. But his survival will be way better than Katori. Or, I'm sorry, Katori. Thank God, not Katori. Way better than Philvis. So we basically have a unit here that's just going to be SA, or I'll say SA, +5, and is going to survive some decent hits. Now, that isn't to say we're out of the woods. It just means we can drop our guard ever so vaguely. And I emphasize vaguely. All right. So you notice I just did a strength buff with Katori. Well, no, I'm sorry. Should have done Providence. I think I did Providence. I hope I did Providence. We'll know in a second. Okay, I did Providence. The reason that I do Providence on that turn is because we're going to get hit hard. Like, that turn hurts. It does not feel good. And if you don't have enough healing on that turn, life truly does suck. I'm going to go ahead and do a Haruhime buff. Now, a Haruhime buff is not a wise thing to do on this turn. That said, so long as Aisha doesn't remove the buff, which there's a high likelihood she will, if I'm completely honest here. It's rare that she doesn't. But if she doesn't, we could love life a little bit. Problem is, if she does, Katori's kind of back to square one. And we've got to scramble because we need 4 really good SAs to win this. And it ain't going to be easy. I'm going to tell you that right now. It ain't going to be easy. Perfect. Look at that tanking. I love Katori so much. So that's the main thing you want to think about is when you have your 4th unit come in, say 6th unit technically, come in, it needs to be someone that is able to tank a bunch of hits and won't sit there and just eat damage left, right, and center. You've got to be able to produce. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. So notice that strength buff is gone. So while that was kind of nice to keep everyone alive, it was a bit of a wasted turn. I really probably should have saved that SA because I really need that SA free and clear here shortly. If I don't have it, I'm going to not be a happy camper. All right. So one thing to look here is my physical resistance down, but my strength debuff is not on. Okay? She has guard rate down 25%, and everything else is down. So this is a perfect time to SA with Katori. So that's what we're going to do. Obviously, we're going to do the usual stuff. Remove all the strength buffs. Just do a halfway decent hit. And then heal with a side order of increasing buffs. So let's go ahead and do this and see what happens here. Now, I am relying on Katori heavily for this. Good hit, girl. Good hit. That's the kind of hits we want to see from her. Now, if we're not careful, we could hit when Katori is debuffed, or we could hit when Aisha has a big physical resistance buff on her. But we're going to pay attention to try to mitigate that somewhat. Alright, so Yosuga. I'm going to do Kamale. We're going to eat a super attack after this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do Providence. Yeah, we'll be good. Let's do this. Because the main thing is, if somebody dies in the when Aisha does her SA, we will not get the SAs we need for Katori. So it is a little self-serving, but it's also just facts of life. All right, let's see. See, strength is now debuffed with Katori, and she lost her strength buff there too. So we are going to have to play it by... Oh no, she still has a strength buff. I take that back. So we'll do a Kamale on this turn. There we go. But with that strength debuff in play, we cannot SA with strength debuff in play. So fingers crossed that gets removed. All right, strength debuff is gone. And her buff is still in play. Her little strength buff is still in play there. So let's go ahead and do an SA again. Let us see what happens. All right. Another 3/4 of a mil hit. Now the downside is I really think I need one more SA to make this happen, and I think we wasted it on Haruhime. So this will not be a turn 12 win, but it will be a win nonetheless. So we're going to go back to Kamale here. I'm going to go ahead and do Yosuga. And we're going to have to do Star Pulse and all that stuff. Main thing is here, at this point, I need to make sure that the Avoid KO is on Line, because Line cannot die. Like, Line is the second most important person here next to Katori, because she has to remove those strength buffs. If she doesn't, we are going to get hit and we are going to get croaked. And it's not going to be nice. All right. So strength buffs have been removed from Katori. So we've got to buff her strength again. And we're going to have to do Sheikah just to make sure we get her some of her MP back. Go. So I hate to say it, this is not going to be a turn 12. We might get lucky, but I emphasize lucky. I don't think so, though. I really don't think so. If I had been able to save that Haruhime SA for Katori, we'd have been in a much, 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 much better place. I'm honestly not going to worry about Bell because we're so close to winning this. If Bell croaks it, I'm not going to lose sleep. I cannot have Line croak it, but if Bell croaks it, I'm not going to lose sleep. So we're going to do an SA here. Fingers crossed. Now, we haven't lost anyone. We've got Bell on our team, and this is turn 12. If she kills her here, which I don't think she will, we'll have won this. But I think she has... Yeah. See, she still has that strength down on Katori, so it was a bad turn to do that. But we've got one more right here. And we're going to be good to go. This is going to be the death throw. So we were one turn away because we misused one of the SAs. But that's okay. This is an A-class win with a C-class team. Oh, girl. Girl, where was your power at? I think she still actually hit her for more power. I just overestimated her. All right, well, that's fine. That's fine. Crap baskets. Woo! Ha! I'm not gonna lie, I was a little concerned about the end there because I thought she was a goner long before that. So, yeah. So while it's showing an S clear there, that was not within 12 turns, so that would have been an A clear. But that's a team that can do it. If you follow that example and you build a similar team, you two can definitely do this. Now, I'm not gonna lie. You saw the jump cut there at the beginning. This definitely took a couple of turns to make happen. But, I'll go ahead and burn a potato snack so I can show you the team. But, with this team, this frankly fairly scrubbed team, yes, she's MLB, Haruhime's MLB, and the only other MLB is that free-to-play Bell, and he doesn't even have any hero ascension in him. We sacked both Galamus and Philvis, so it doesn't really matter what their stats were. And I know some of the assists, like I said before, are not in the best place. That's just because that we need those debuffs. Line's only +3. She does have hero ascension in her, but this is a team that most players could probably produce, if not right now, in the near future. This is not a whale team. This is an easily producible free-to-play team if you're wise with your star bonds and your prism bonds. So, go have fun. This is everything you need to know. Make sure you debuff the hell out of her so she can take damage, and make sure you debuff her so she can't produce damage. Not to mention buffs like Galamus has that allow your units not to take much damage. One of the unfortunate hindrances but biggest helps here was this Freya assist on Katori, because that physical resist and physical resist 20% did come in super handy. I wish your strength stat was higher, but Katori still was far and away our best hitter. So good stuff. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments section down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow my Birdman. Hit me up on Booker. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi here soon.